Let's visit the 90s all over again. Put on those hammer pants. This is Dope Nostalgia.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dope Nostalgia. This is episode 217 and I'm your host Naomi. Now this summer, a lot of you guys know that I spent traveling to see New Kids on the Block, went to 4 different shows, spent a lot of good time with friends. And one thing I've always thinking about is about the men in the crowd. Why are they there? Like, you know, if you're reading people, you're wondering if they're there because they're fans of the band. Is it a husband and wife or girlfriend, boyfriend night out? You just never know. So I thought, hey, wouldn't it be really cool to do a whole episode about not only male blockheads, but blockhead husbands? I remember standing in line for a drink in one of the cities we were at, and a gentleman was next to me waiting for his drink. And I asked him, are you having a good time tonight? He's like, oh, I'm only here because the wife dragged me out. He's like, this is going to be terrible for me, he said. And I'm like, oh, just try to have fun. Like, you know, open your mind to it and enjoy the night kind of thing. But I was just like, well, I wonder how many other people are grumpy about it. But that's not the experience I've had. Most of the men I've ever talked to love the experience and like New Kids. So I've asked a few of them to join and share their stories about them and their wives' experiences as New Kids on the Block fans, or maybe not fans, but supporting their wives in their fandom. As well, we're going to have 2 guests who are male blockheads. So let's get to the show. Our first guest today is Sam, and his wife Heather talked to me about getting Sam on the show. Sam reached out, and he's going to be our very first guest. Welcome, Sam. Thank you. Welcome, Sam, to the show. Are you yourself a blockhead?
I am a Blockhead.
Yeah.
I do like them. I tell people all the time, I like them. I'm a fan. I know the words. I sing along. I probably wouldn't go to the concert on my own, but I consider myself a Blockhead. I've learned enough about it. I know who they are and whatnot. So yeah.
Tell us about your wife and how you found this out about her, that she was a blockhead.
Well, she's always been a New Kids on the Block fan. I mean, we've been married for 23 years. Matter of fact, the Dallas show was our 23rd anniversary. And so she's always been a Blockhead, you know, and it's kind of evolved now to where matter of fact, we're talking about this, how when she first went to her first concert, which I believe was the original 89 summer tour, you know, she sat way in the back, you know, nosebleed seats with her grandma. And now, you know, of evolvement of just growing, you know, and making money, being an adult, you know, we're able to be magic seats, meet and greets. So it's kind of evolved. So she's always been a Blockhead. She's always loved Donnie Wahlberg. Always talked about their songs, always something that brings her joy. They're a big part of her growing up, in your childhood and whatnot. So it's just evolved into now, I guess, you know, having a career and money, you can afford more stuff than you could when you were a broke teenager.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Like the amount I got my mom to spend back then compared to now is nothing. Have you been on the cruise?
But yeah, we went on the cruise last year for the first time. The 2023 cruise was our first cruise that we went on. So yeah, we did that. That was fun. I enjoyed that. That was actually fun, good, fun adult cruise. So we got on late. We had limited access, so we couldn't do any of the concerts or whatever they did on the main stage. But I mean, the real party's in the Lido deck, anyways. So we got to do all that stuff, and that was fun. It was a really good time on the cruise. We got to meet a lot of good people. A lot of people from Texas, from our hometown that we met. So it was fun.
No kidding. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. Has there ever been a moment where the fandom annoyed you or you didn't get it?
No, you know what? I take it in stride. I like the fandom. I think it's funny because I don't think there are many as engaged guys or husbands, especially in the cruise. Like I always tease, you know, the ratio's in my favor. You know, it's like 10 girls to one guy.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and I joke about that. You know, I enjoy the fandom. I think for me, it gets annoying, you know, being on these Facebook pages, just how catty some girls can be, you know, how they just complain about little things, minor things. But I mean, that's just annoying on social media. But I mean, in person, everyone's cool. Everyone agrees. Everyone talks to each other. So it doesn't annoy me like in person. I'm more annoyed about the social media stuff. How just certain people think, oh, like, oh, they're the guys. They're my guys. I tell my wife all the time, Donnie Wahlberg's married to Jenny McCartney. What are you gonna do that she hasn't done for him? Um, but I mean, so it's more social media annoyance. But when you're live with the people, like on the cruise or in the concerts, I don't they don't annoy me. I've made some friends. I kind of just look out for my wife's safety or whatnot because you can become the like mob mode sometimes when people just want to be so excited. But I
That's
mean,
true.
I understand the fandom, just people having a good time, having fun. But I'm more annoyed on social media stuff. I just think people think they know more than others, or they know the guys more than others, or they think they know what New Kids does, and it just becomes a whole social media mess. So my comment usually is a meme of someone eating popcorn because I'm just here for the comments.
Oh yeah, isn't it something? Hey, no, I totally see where you're coming from. Yeah, lately it's been everyone talking about um people shouldn't be getting drunk at the concerts and stuff like that, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I
oh
mean, I
my
mean, how many
goodness.
posts are you going to put about not touching the guys and whatnot? Like, I'm all for personal space. Matter of fact, I even put a post too. If it was flipped, if they were females and guys were grabbing them, it'd be a total different story. Of if guys were grabbing, if a guy's grabbing Taylor Swift, that'd be totally different. But I
Yep.
think because it's guys and girls, there's a little leeway. But I also think too, I think Donnie does a good job. I will say this, I really admire how Donnie is with the crowd. I do think out of all the guys, Donnie thoroughly enjoys this. I think he enjoys the attention, he enjoys the stardom, he enjoys. But I do think Donnie truly appreciates what people do to go see him and see them.
Hmm.
Even on the cruise, I've said it a couple of times when I can. I always tell his bodyguards how I appreciate how they are with the crowd because they could handle things very differently. Even like with me at the meet and greet, you can see I got my hat signed, and I had a
Nice.
marker with me at the meet and greet, and the bodyguard was like, "Hey, you should probably put that away." And he told me twice very nicely, and I did. But I tell my wife he could have handled that very differently. He could have been more aggressive. He could have taken the marker from me. So I understand that part. But I think Donnie a couple times, even with the girl that grabbed him, he does his best to make it not make into an event, not embarrass somebody.
Hmm.
Even on the cruise, somebody got on stage past security, and I saw her get past security and got on stage. And Donnie kind of questioned, like, how'd she get up here? But he made the decision to kind of push her to the back of the stage and leave her there versus making a scene of trying to get her off.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. I do think Donnie enjoys. Donnie does a good job of trying to take selfies, trying to be very conscious of what people does. I love how he is with ADA and the disabilities and accessibility.
Mhm.
So I appreciate that with New Kids on the Block. But I do think out of all of them, Donnie, who my wife loves, is a Donnie girl. I do think he is very aware of what fans are doing to go see them, and I truly think he appreciates that.
Mhm.
Then Danny's a close second, and then the other ones, I just make a joke. I think the other ones are just there kind of like a job, like, oh, well, here goes Donnie again. Let's just go. Not that they don't enjoy it, but I
Mhm.
think Donnie really enjoys being in the crowd, interacting with people, taking selfies. I really do think he lives in the moment,
Mhm.
and I think he appreciates that at this stage of people's lives of what they're doing to appreciate and show the love for New Kids on the Block.
Couldn't say it better. That is incredible. It's true. He is a one of a kind gentleman, and you can totally feel that the love is legit, you know? So I appreciate you saying that. So if I were going to ask you which of the guys you want to hang out with and what would you do if you hung out with them for a day, I'm thinking I know who you're hanging out with.
You know what? I'd hang out with Donnie just like I can bring my wife. So she can
Yeah.
hang out with him too and have that. But you know what? It's funny in all the meet and greets and when we've done them, we got to go do BlockCon. I
Mhm.
like Danny. Danny's real down to earth. We always talk about basketball. He's a Celtics fan. I'm a Spurs fan, and they got one of the players from the Spurs last year. So we
Mhm.
always talk about basketball and stuff like that between the Celtics and other teams. And so Danny to me is real kind of down to earth. So is Donnie. But I mean, I just hang out. I just in I like them. I mean, I'll hang out with them, whatever. But to me, they're just people. I'll just talk about stuff. I think they'll talk about, like honestly, what I would talk on with Donnie, I'd have a good conversation with Jenny's son, who has autism, because I'm a special education consultant and I work with kids with disabilities. So I like to, some of the stuff he does with, kind of bring autism awareness, helping him, kind of reach his goals with having autism, being more aware in the world that he lives in. I do like how he's aware of that. I'd have a conversation with, what could he do more in a sense of bringing awareness of kids with disabilities, and again, on the cruise, other concerts, they're very aware of ADA. They're very aware of that population, and taking care of the adults and kids that have disabilities. So I'd have a conversation with Donnie about that. And then probably with sports too, because he likes the Celtics too, whatnot. And then, but I hang out with Donnie and Danny. I think to me, they're the most personal. They're the ones I've interacted with the most. I'm always stuck with Danny at the meet and greets because somebody wants to be with Danny, or I think Danny's pretty cool. But yeah, I'd hang out with those two. But I'd hang out with Donnie. I think Donnie just so my wife can hang out with us too.
That's so thoughtful. I love that. Have you ever done anything embarrassing for her because of them?
All the time, all the time. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very extroverted, and my wife is introverted, and so I do a lot of things just kind of help with getting attention. I got on stage on the cruise when they played the song "It's Raining Men," and they're asking where all the men were, so I started jumping up and down and dancing to get their attention. Yeah, you see my shirt. I just wear colorful stuff just to be an attention grabber sometimes. I don't mind the attention, but no, I don't know if it's embarrassing, but I just do it just to, and I kind of play along with it. I kind of, I just think the guys appreciate that. They see that. I think Donnie is very aware of what's going on in the crowd and whatnot. So, I mean, I'll do stuff just to, whether it's embarrassing or not, just to be an attention grabber to kind of, help her do that and then get her on stage. Matter of fact, I told her the other day, we're trying to get her group for a meet and greet. And she's like, well, I'll just give up my Donnie spot. I'm like, no, just stick with it. Stick with your guns. Stay with Donnie. I will find somebody else for you. So I was going out there to make our group. I was hitting on everybody to try to make our group. So I was telling our group, I'm hitting on every single person coming in here trying to make our group. And we did. But no, I'm not going. I enjoy the spotlight sometimes. I enjoy the moments. It doesn't bother me. So yeah, I'm a pretty good attention grabber.
Oh, that's so cool. Do you guys have children, or what do your children think of new kids and what's on the fandom, or your friends as well? How do they think, like, when you're like, we're going on the cruise? What do they say to you?
Our kids kind of accepted. They're teenagers now. They're pretty much both adults, 19, 17. They understand that. They understand my wife's fandom for understanding where that goes. They'd always make a joke, oh, you won't buy this, but you go buy concert tickets for New Kids in the Block. We've gone to 4 concerts, and we're going to go see them in Vegas at the iHeart Radio. So my son understands that. We actually missed one of my son's basketball tournaments to go to a concert, but we had it pre-planned. So they're aware of that. Everybody at work knows our fandom for New Kids in the Block. I'll move stuff around at work sometimes because sometimes my schedule is planned out ahead of time. I'm like, hey guys, I got to move this session because this is coming up, or that's coming up. Like right now, I got my May calendars open because we're waiting for, hopefully the cruise gets announced, and the rumor is supposed to be in May. So, but everybody at work understands that. They buy into it. They understand the fandom that we have. When I say weeks, I do. I'm like I said, I'm a blockhead. I like them, but it's more, they understand where it is. My wife's love for them and whatnot. So the kids accepted it.
Do they know you?
Oh yeah, my wife. She's in the background.
She should say hi.
So say hi. So she's coming around.
Oh, good.
She's only using the audio.
Hello.
But yeah, they understand the fandom, the stardom, and all that stuff. So our boys accept it. They're just like, oh, okay, New Kids in the Block. You can see the rooms here, so they understand that stuff and whatnot. So it's fun. It's all in fun. They like it.
That's great. This has been an awesome chance to get to know your fandom, and you were very well articulated, like perfect interview. Thank you so much, Sam.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem.
Next guest, Greg, is with us. His wife, Jessie, is a huge New Kids on the Block fan. So we talked to Greg about how he feels about that. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Greg. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You have an incredible background there.
Yeah, I may have framed that for effect.
That's perfect.
The other half of the room is all Pittsburgh Steelers stuff, but this side is more of our music memorabilia.
That's very cool. Yes. And it looks like you have a bunch of the passes behind you too. From different meet and greets and stuff.
Lanyards with all the meet and greets we've done and things like that. So, and then on the very, very end, there's bracelets and things we've collected and things. So just, little pieces of each show we've gone to.
I love that. So this will be about 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
And I'll ask you a series of questions as well. First of all, welcome, Greg, to Dope Nostalgia.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And what's your wife's name?
My wife's Jessie.
Jessie. I want to thank her too for having you on the show with me today. Are you yourself, Greg, a blockhead?
I am very much.
Now, did you know about her fandom when you guys met, or what point in your relationship did you learn about her thing for the new kids?
Yeah, it wasn't when we first met because we met in college and it was in 93.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, once we had been dating for a little bit, she kind of told me, she goes, "Oh, I was really into the New Kids on the Block when I was younger." And she was still into them. She just maybe wasn't admitting it quite yet. And again, my background is like I listened to kind of everything. So I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then they broke up when right after Face the Music came out. So it was kind of like there wasn't much to talk about in the fandom about it. So we did, all kinds of other things. And then when they got back together, it was something we could go do together. And it's been great. We really enjoy it.
You've been to shows in the cruise, obviously. I can tell by your lanyards.
Yep, we've been to the cruise. Last October was our first cruise. And it was our first cruise ever. Never been on a cruise ship in my life, let alone a New Kids cruise. So that was an experience. But we had a blast for that. And we did BlockCon last year too. So it was a very busy year.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm glad that you participated in all those events. Now which of the guys and New Kids would you want to hang out with most, and what would you do if you had a chance to do like a bro day kind of thing?
I think my first choice would probably be Donnie, just because I think it'd be fun to just sit down and tell stories about, growing up and the things we've experienced. I kind of see myself, I could spend a day with Joe because I think we both have a very dry, sarcastic sense of humor. So I think we would
He's
kind of
so
play
funny.
well off each other. But I could really hang out with all of them. I'll go work out with Danny. I could, go fix some stuff with John, so kind of any of them really.
Hmm. Do you share any characteristics with her favorite new kid, and who is her favorite new kid?
So Jesse is a Jordan girl.
Hmm.
And probably the characteristic I share with him is typically I'm pretty quiet, kind of keep to myself. Not the most outgoing all the time kind of person. I have a little more of an introverted tendency, but when I'm around people, I love being in social settings. But I'm probably more like that. I'm like, okay, I'll just stand over here, so I probably align a little bit with Jordan and his, he likes to kind of keep to himself a little bit.
You know what's funny? I kind of guessed that she might be a Jordan girl just by the placement of her Still Kids box set.
Yeah.
Because if you see me behind my head here where mine
Yep.
is,
Uh-huh.
right.
Back. Yep. See right there.
Jordan's face out. Has there ever been a time where the fandom annoyed you, or there was something that they did that you didn't get? You just didn't understand why?
Not so much I didn't get. I think we've all probably experienced that, whether it was at the cruise or at a concert, where you're trying to get a spot for yourself and people just don't kind of respect your space sometimes, but that's been rare. I broke up a fight at one of the shows between some women behind me, and then I had to deal with the security guard because they thought I was involved. And so that kind of drama I could do without. But in general, I think, just being at the events and everybody's on the same page with, hey, let's have a good time. We're all here for the same reasons. There's always the exception, and that's at any show you go to, doesn't matter the artist.
Yeah.
You're always going to run into a few people that are, maybe not, they're having fun at a different level than everybody else, and it can be kind of annoying. But no, in general, I think the fans are great. I get along with so many. I've met so many blockheads over the years, and I'm now Greg the Blockhead. I'm not just Jesse's husband. They finally figured out that I'm the one that buy the VIP tickets. She's just like, hey, let's go to the show. I'm the one that's buying all the VIP upgrades and everything.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. And I find like a lot of the things that happen at the concerts that might be annoying, or, especially with these people who lately have been grabby towards the guys and completely inappropriate. I think a lot of it is not even the hardcore fans as much as it is casual fans, maybe, who get a little wild, and they're just not, they may not have the same level of respect for the new kids as us hardcore fans do.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think, again, the diehards, the longtime fans have that respect and understand. We appreciate when they come out into the crowd. or we'll walk by and high five people. Like that's something special you don't get with a lot of artists when you go to a show. So
Mhm.
I think, we really appreciate that and want to be respectful of them. But like you said, there's always a handful, and they probably are, newer fans, or they feel like, well, I paid, a lot of money for this seat, so I'm entitled to, do things that maybe I shouldn't. But
Mhm.
I just hope it doesn't ruin it for everybody else, because that is some of the best parts of the New Kids concerts, when they come out in the crowd. You never know who's going to pop up where. And
Yeah.
one of the shows way back when Donnie walked right down the row of the seats we were on, or high fiving people, and it was just you never know what you're going to get surprised with.
It's true. It's true. I brought one of my friends to his first New Kids concert at the one Mountain View, California, just last month. And I'm looking out all over. This is during Tonight, the song Tonight, and I'm looking out all over the crowd. I'm on my Instagram live taking a video, and I'm videoing way somewhere else. I look away from my phone, and Joe is right in front of us, shaking my friend Jimmy's hand.
Yep.
And I miss it completely.
Yeah, and that happens. There's been a lot of times where I think one of the shows we were at, when they came down the aisles, John was right to our left. So Jesse went over there, and she's like, got the chance to take a selfie and give him a hug or whatever. And then she turns around, and Donnie's right, like I said, he's coming right down the row, and neither one of us were like prepared for that moment. So we didn't get it on camera or anything. But yeah,
Yeah.
you just all of a sudden, boop, there they are. You just never know.
But that's the nice thing sometimes when you don't catch the camera stuff, because you just have that moment that lives in your mind, and it was a really
Yeah.
cool thing, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of those. There's a lot of moments and things that you just, and then you hear the song when you're, playing it on your playlist or whatever. You're like, oh, I remember that part of the show, and it just, those memories are there. They're just not always brought up as easily as it is scrolling on your phone. But yeah, the memories and the experiences are by far worth it in the end.
What do your guy friends and your family and kids and the people in your lives think about the fandom and the fact that you guys love New Kids so much?
There's most of like my family is like, that's great. You guys have something fun to go do. They think it's great that we kind of travel around, go to different shows and be part, like they know that's what we're going to do.
Mhm.
People I work with, you know, I don't often, like I said, I don't look like the New Kids fan. I look more like I should be one of the security guards.
Mhm.
But, I just tell me, look, I grew up in the 80s, right? And 80s, 90s music is my thing. So
Mhm.
I'm going to go and I'm going to have a good time. And if you think that's weird, I really don't care. It makes me happy and I'm going to do it.
Amen to that. I love it. I own it. I own it with everybody I know, right? What makes
Yep.
you happy. So do you have your own favorite band or favorite artist as well?
So, yeah. So my first love would probably go to New Edition. Because I listened to them back in the 80s. I was a big Belle Biv DeVoe fan. Loved Bobby Brown, Ralph, and Johnny Gill's solo stuff. That was a big part of like my high school years. The New
Mhm.
Edition Heartbreak album came out when I was in high school. So that was really big music for me. So I really kind of gravitate towards them. But I have this really dysfunctional taste in music. Like I've seen Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons in concert, and I've seen Snoop Dogg,
Mhm.
Iron Maiden, anything in between. I like listening to all kinds of different things, and it depends on the mood I'm in, what I'm going to listen to or what I might be doing. But you know, at this point in my life, it's probably New Editions one, and New Kids are like one B. They're pretty close. I don't know if I could distinguish a favorite between the two.
I love that you have all of that like variety,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's what came out of the MTV generation, right? We got exposed to everything. It
It's
wasn't
true.
just what was on the top 40 of the radio. You got to listen and watch the videos of all the different artists and different genres of music and get exposed to different things. And then, you know, you have different groups of friends kind of growing up in high school. This group of friends, they like more hair metal stuff. And this group, they were more into hip hop R&B. And, you get exposed to different things with your friends and what you would see on TV back then. So yeah, I'll listen to just about anything, country music, and you name it. You'll find me listening to Carrie's Country on XM sometimes, just because she plays a variety of music too. And just whatever I'm in the mood for, I'll listen to.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Greg, thank you so much for your time today. Before we wrap things up, I wanted to ask you just to give a shout out to your wife.
Yeah, absolutely, Jesse. I love you. Thanks for putting up with my fandom in the New Kids Blockhead world, because I think we do a good job complimenting each other. So I love you very much.
It's time to welcome our next guest, Nick, to the show, who's married to Blockhead Ashley. All right. Thank you. Welcome, Nick, to Dope Nostalgia. Are you yourself a Blockhead?
I'm not.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, I'm not a blockhead, but with her being one, I've had to embrace that lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle, that's for sure.
No, it is absolutely, absolutely.
What did you think of them when you were growing up?
I didn't think much of them. I was actually into rap and hip hop, but obviously I knew who they were, and I knew Hanging Tough and Step by Step. Like, you knew the song because any top 40 radio station would play those particular songs. So I
Mhm.
knew of them. I wasn't a fan. I mean, I was probably partly elementary to middle school during their era back then.
Mhm.
But I was mostly into hip hop and rap. So I was aware of them. I knew who they were, but I wasn't a fan, so to speak. Oh, here she comes.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, how are you? I look a mess. How are you?
Oh, you are fine. You look great. Don't worry. I just
Oh,
wanted to say hi.
yeah. Thank you. I'm resting. We went grocery shopping, had a busy morning. So,
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're having a good weekend.
yes, it's nice talking to you. Nice meeting you finally.
You too. Okay. So
Oh,
have you yourself, Nick, been to a show or the cruise or any of the events?
I have been to multiple shows with her. We've been to one in Dallas, been to one in Phoenix, been to one in Las Vegas, and then we just went to one in Austin as well a few weeks ago. Now she's been a ton more than me.
Mhm.
Flying can get a little expensive, right? So, but I've been. The first show I went to actually was in Phoenix. We're living in Arizona a few years ago, and I was actually blown away. They put on a phenomenal show. They had great opening acts, and like I said, I love their music. It's great, but I wasn't a blockhead. I'm still not, but
Yeah.
they have great music. But the guys, they put on a great show. I mean, I was just like blown away. I was like, man, that was pretty awesome. Especially for my first time ever going. I was pretty impressed. And I believe it was John. It was so funny. They were walking by the front of us, and my wife's sticking out her hand, and John shakes my hand, and she didn't get any love. I was like, it's my first time ever going, and he shook my hand. I believe I had my Boston Celtics jersey on. I mean, I was all in. I had to dress up and look the part. So that was cool. I love how they interact with their fans, and they'll get on the floor. And there's a lot of acts that won't do that. They're going to do their thing on the stage, and they're going to go home and go to the next city on a tour. And they've truly embraced, the fans. I think they really understand the importance of that and that connection. So that was pretty cool.
Very cool. I think they're also coming from a place where they, when they were huge in their heyday and everything was like massive, they went to that place where all of a sudden all the fans weren't, not all the fans, but a lot of them weren't there anymore.
Right.
So I think they've embraced it that the fans are there now.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I think it's kind of them in a weird way. It's kind of them getting to relive that previous success. And then I even think the fans getting to relive kind of that teenage, kind of tween age, really, because some of them were 10, 11, 12, 13, even probably as high as 18, and being able to re-experience that. And then you got a lot of those women then when they were girls or even young men that go to the concerts, but when they were young, they, for whatever reason, they couldn't afford to go to a show or the show wasn't in their city. So now it's like they're kind of, let's say, living in the past, but you're kind of getting to do something, kind of that bucket list of, man, I grew up with them, I love them, and I never got to do that. Now I'm getting to do it. And that's kind of cool I think it's like me, perfect example. I grew up a WWE wrestling fan, and 3 years ago, my wife bought us tickets to WrestleMania, and that was like the bucket list. Because when I was a kid, I couldn't go, right? So they came to
Aw.
Dallas, and I got to go with my two sons. So I got to experience that. So I think that's kind of the experience she's having too now, being a lifetime blockhead, but being able to go to as many shows. And I think a lot of fans are like that as well. So
Take it in as much as you can now. Exactly.
absolutely.
Did you know about her being a blockhead when you guys met?
No, she would say, "Oh, I like New Kids on the Block," but then you go down a list of other people too, because you don't want to come off like, "Oh, I don't want to be a weirdo," you know what I mean, like a crazy obsessed fan. But but I knew that early on that she liked them,
Yeah.
and then I think when they started going back on tour, you kind of started seeing that kind of reigniting that passion or that fire for that music or for that particular group for New Kids on the Block, just because they weren't on tour for a while, and then she couldn't go to those shows, and then it was kind of like a thing of the past where you love them, but then it's kind of like you're not seeing them anymore. And then when they kind of came back on that scene and kind of did their tours and kind of blowing up again, really, being able to do that, I think that's what kind of reignited it. Probably about like, it might have been 10 years ago, maybe even 12 years ago, when she went back to their first show in Dallas, when they kind of started touring again. She went to their Dallas show, and then you kind of started seeing that passion kind of rise more and more. And then her, social media has taken over too. So, being able, I think, to connect with more blockheads and share that experience, I think that's been cool. I mean, she has a whole friend group that they chat and they talk every day. And I think that's pretty cool to be able to connect really all over the country. She's even had a connection with a lady who lived in Australia. I think she actually passed away last year or the year before. But really, you're connecting worldwide. Yeah, connecting worldwide with people. I think that's a pretty cool thing, that just being a fan like this and being a blockhead, really connecting just people from really all walks of life that, really are just, it really brings people together. So it's kind of a cool thing to see.
That's the best part of it, actually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it really is cool. It is.
And you get to go to these events with a big group of people. You don't ever go or feel alone. If you go to a New Kids show, you'll have new friends by the end of it.
Oh, there ain't no doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Yes, that's like with her, and then meeting friends. Oh, we're going to meet I think they went to Denver, and then I think they went to a show in Illinois, and I think they're going one in Indy at the end of this month. And then it's just like being able to, you're on your group chat, and then you're video call, and you're talking like, hey, this is where we're going to stay. And then we chip in our money, and you get the hotel, and then you get your rental car, and then, you buy seats together. And then that's just kind of a cool thing to do. Yeah, I've been pretty impressed. How something like that can bring people together. And it's pretty awesome to see.
Who's her favorite new kid?
Everybody's going to say Donnie. Donnie's just a cool cat. Let's just keep it real. Like, even dudes, like, I'm like, this is a cool guy, because she took my son and she made him wear a low-key Blockhead t-shirt, and it was glow in the dark, right? So he could see it. He's pointing at him, and then she asked him to follow him on social media after. And my son was like a football player. She had like 13,000 followers on Twitter and 16,000 on Instagram, and Donnie followed him, and he thought that was pretty cool too. So she loves him, but I think everybody loves him. And then, John gives the best hugs, and then, so she kind of, but at the end of the day, I think Donnie is the number one guy. But you love all of them. I mean, they all bring something to the table, and I think, they all are obviously exceptionally talented and put on a phenomenal show, and everybody has their favorites, but I think Donnie's going to be at the top of the list all day. So
I agree.
Yeah.
With everybody. You can't.
Absolutely.
Has there ever been a moment where in this fandom where you were like, you guys are nuts, or, somebody did something that was really annoying to you?
No, not really. I'm a football coach. So I understand, like, you got to have passion for what you do, and you got to really love whatever it is you're chasing in your life. I always say, chase the lion, empty the tank, finish the story. The lion, what are you chasing? It's something people say is impossible, that you can't achieve. And then empty the tank, give everything you got, and finish the story. Finish your story. This is part of her story, is part of her life, is being engaged with people all over the country for something they're passionate about, a group they love. So yeah, they're crazy. Let's not lie. But at the end of the day, it's a good crazy though, because it's good to have passion and enthusiasm about something, because so many people go through life and they have no passion, no enthusiasm about nothing. It's Monday morning and they can't wait till Friday to get off of work. You know what I mean? They haven't even made it there. And they just go through life, just kind of just making it to the weekend and then making it to the weekend. And I think being able to see the joy really in these women, I mean, I think it's pretty cool to see, because, we just live in a crazy world, and sometimes there's so much negativity. So to have so much positivity between people who can connect throughout the country through music is just a cool thing to do. So.
Agreed. What do your friends and family, your guy friends, what do they think of all of this?
Oh, it's funny. I just joined a new coaching staff at a new school I'm at, and I was showing a picture of her with Donnie Wahlberg, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's cool, man, that's cool." And then kind of one of her friends whose dad owns a modeling agency, and we're kind of having these conversations. I'm like, "Yeah, man, she's been able to connect with this person and this person and this person," and they thought it was cool. I called her a super fan. I didn't call her Blockhead because I don't know if they really understand what that means. So I was like, "Yeah, it's like a super fan." I said she's pretty much on tour with them, right? So kind of joking like that. So they think it's cool because they know who it is. It's just, I'm getting older. So some of these younger guys I work with, they don't really understand New Kids on the Block. But family, they've been knowing as well. They know, my family's known that this is the group that she loved. And whenever she can go to a concert, she's going to go. So, it's it's never been weird to me. I think some people, maybe even men, they get jealous or they're whatever. I'm like, man, I've been to the shows. They love their fans. They're never going to be disrespectful. They're going to go out there and interact, but that's part of it, right? Like if you're not doing that and it's not an engaging environment, no one's going to want to go to those shows because then it's just somebody up there singing on a microphone. So I like the connection. I think it's cool, and I'm glad to see it bring so much joy to people.
Well, I'm glad you're embracing the experience yourself. That's a great thing that you go into it with a positive mindset. I haven't talked to anybody yet who gets jealous, but maybe they're just not telling me that.
It wouldn't be any reason to, but at the same time, I mean, people feel certain types of ways about things, even going on the cruise, she's bought a ticket to go on the cruise twice, and then just life situation happens. And she's had to sell them, and just unfortunately she wasn't able to go both times. But every time I wanted to go as well, and she could go by herself. I'm all good. Spend time with your friends, have fun, for a week or whatever. But I'd like to go too because, like I said, they put on a really, really good show, and I like being around passionate people. Doesn't matter. So what it's about. So it's like I said, it's just a really cool experience, and there's really no reason to get jealous. Those guys, they get it, man. They're putting on a show, and like I said, they love their fans, and it's good to see.
Are there any of the guys that you would hang out with for an afternoon, or what would you do?
Oh yeah, I definitely. I mean, Donnie's cool, but I'm a fan of his brother Mark. So it's like one of those things. Like I love his movies, so that's like my guy, right? So it's one of those things. I'd definitely kick it with him. He just seems like a really laid back, cool guy. So I'd definitely like to do that, and then the dude with the big biceps. My brain just went blank right now.
Danny.
Danny, yeah, I know because I just wore a hat. Danny is my homeboy to the concert. But yeah, I had a brain fart there. But yeah, I love working out, lifting weights, and he looked like he'd be fun to just train with. Let's get in a pump, bro. You know what I'm saying? So seemed like he'd be cool to just go to the gym, hang out, chill, lift some weights. That'd be cool. But yeah, those two I think are the two that I'd connect with the most.
Oh, this was fantastic, Nick.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, thank you so much for just taking the time to speak to me. I truly appreciate it.
And our next husband is John, and his wife, Amy, loves New Kids on the Block. Here's John. John, welcome to Dope Nostalgia.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, are you yourself a blockhead?
I wouldn't say I'm a blockhead. I would say I'm a Donnie Wahlberg fan.
Mm-hmm.
Only because my wife is a Donnie Wahlberg fan and, Blue Bloods.
Exact. So were you a watcher of Blue Bloods? Are you all caught up? And
my wife and I are waiting on the rest of season, 14?
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, we followed the Reagan family for 14 years. It's quite a journey.
No kidding. What a run.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the New Kids on the Block when you were growing up?
I had a friend who liked them, but I didn't probably because my parents said that's not the kind of music you're supposed to listen to.
Oh,
and now that I'm grown, it's still not the type of music I prefer.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see the appeal of their music to their fans. My wife being one of them, she's been a fan since I want to say 1989. She's been to 30 concerts or so. But I can see the appeal of them, their showmanship, how they handle themselves on stage. I can see how that appeals to their fans today more than I could back when I was growing up.
Makes more sense
now. That makes any sense. Yes, it does. I mean, outside of I would say rock and metal bands, which is my preferred genre, you don't see many guys in their mid-50s putting on shows with the energy that they put on shows.
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. They came back together for their friends in or not their friends, for their fans in 2008. And they've been pushing longer. They've been together longer the second time around than their first time around, and their fans appreciate it. And I think they know that their fans appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes them appreciate their fans more, and it just kind of builds on, you know?
Yeah, it's a fantastic relationship with the fans.
Yes, it is.
Have you been to any shows or the cruise or any of those types of events?
I went to one of their first shows when they got back together in 2008. The only thing I remember is Donnie telling the women in the crowd, if your men brought you, you owe them big time tonight.
He knows what he's talking about.
Yes, he does. And believe it or not, one of their openers was Lady Gaga from New York City.
Yes.
That's how she presented herself. So I can say I've seen Lady Gaga too, but the new kids, they really impressed me in that show. I mean, I can think about it 16 years later and to still remember that that's what Donnie told the women.
Mm-hmm.
It was an impressive show.
It makes sense that you would remember that part specifically.
Yeah, and I think next time, my wife just went to the concert in Tampa. So next time they hit Central Florida, her and her concert friend have decided that they're bringing along me and her husband. So we're going to
Nice.
make it a foursome date night.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Now, did you know your wife was a blockhead when you met, or at what point in your relationship did you learn about it?
I knew when we met, but I didn't understand it until 2 or 3 years into the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's put it this way. She got stabbed in the hand with a pencil for writing her senior thesis on the New Kids on the Block. That's how big of a fan she is.
Wow.
Yeah. But she kept her crazy hidden until, shoot, I don't even know when it was. But it's not her crazy. She kept her obsession, her fandom hidden
Mm-hmm.
for a while. I don't think she knew how I would react. And, it's weird because, like the opening of Donnie's restaurant in St. Charles, Illinois, I told her she had to go up there with my daughter because it was going to be her World Series. She let me go see the Cubs in the World Series, or at least go stand outside of Wrigley Field for 3 nights with my oldest son. And I told her, look, this is your World Series moment. You get to go up to the opening of his restaurant. You probably get to meet him. And she got to meet him, and he did some kind of secret handshake with my daughter and spent time talking with him. And this was during COVID, so everybody's masked up, but he still spent time with them, talking to them, treating them like they were normal people. So I don't know how that involves me knowing when she became a fan or not, but it's been a long time that I've known she's been a fan.
It's pretty incredible, those experiences, especially with Donnie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's a straight up guy.
Is there anything about the New Kids on the Block fandom that you don't get, or something that you might find even irritating?
No, because I see the same thing like I said, I'm a Chicago Cubs fan. We waited 108 years for a World Series title.
Mm-hmm.
I understand rabid fandom. I understand waiting outside just to catch a glimpse of your favorite person walking from the venue to the bus, because I'm a huge rock and roll and metal fan, and I do the same things if I go to a concert.
Yeah.
I like to go early. I like to stay late to see if I can catch them and see if I can talk with them for even a second or two and just let them know, hey, I appreciated you putting on your show tonight. I appreciate the energy you came with. So really, no, there's nothing that really surprises me about the New Kids on the Block fandom.
Mm-hmm. What do your friends think? Your friends, your family, your kids, what did they think?
My kids love it.
Yeah.
They understand, and they understand that every year and a half that the New Kids come through Central Florida, that Mama's going to be gone for 2 days, because why come home after the concert when you're up till 3 or 4 in the morning? So stay the night. They understand that. It's funny, her friends that know that she's a blockhead, including myself, anything I see New Kids on the Block pop up on social media or on a news site, the first thing I do is share it with her just so she can see it. So I make sure, hey, here's a little piece of news that maybe you didn't see. I want you to see it. So here you go.
Nice.
And her friends do the same thing. They tag her in Facebook posts and Instagram posts and TikTok and all of the things, because they know how big of a fan she is, and they know that she appreciates it.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you've been so wonderful in adopting her fandom and, facilitating that for her. So thank you for that, John.
Yeah, I try to. I mean, she's my partner for life. So
if you had an opportunity yourself to hang out with one of the New Kids, who would you hang out with, and what would you want to do?
Well, I can't say Donnie because I met him last year at his restaurant. Real nice guy. I would say, hands down, I would want to hang out with Danny.
With Danny?
Yes, with Danny.
Okay.
I don't know what he looks like he'd be a fun guy to hang out with, that probably doesn't take himself as seriously as I would think Jordan does, or Joey.
Mm-hmm.
I think those two take themselves the most serious. I think he'd be more on the level of Donnie, willing to joke around and just hang out. Let's go grab a beer or grab a burger and talk.
Transferred call to phone.
Sorry about that. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. So yeah, I think Danny would be the one that I would like to meet and hang out with.
Wonderful. Danny seems awesome. I agree.
Yeah.
Now, just to wrap things up, go ahead and give a shout out to your wife.
All right. This is for my wife, Amy Deary. Without her, I would know nothing about the New Kids on the Block. But because of her, I am more of a fan now than I ever was.
That's awesome. John, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome.
Speaking with these amazing husbands was such a treat. Coming up after the break, we are going to welcome a couple male blockheads who absolutely love the guys and have had lots of cool experiences as New Kids fans.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah.
Hey, friends. I kind of miss getting those messages on my answering machine like we used to back in the day. What I'd really love is to hear from you, the listeners of Dope Nostalgia. This is your chance to be on the show, giving feedback, telling us what you love, what you hate, and who you'd like to see more of. Call us at our new toll-free number, 1-888-741-9192. Leave us some feedback. Your message could be played on the show. So give us a call, 1-888-741-9192. Toll free.
What's up, party people? This is DC, the brain supreme of tag team. You're listening to the Dopeness Nostalgia Podcast. Whoop, there it is. Peace. Sprinkles.
Oh, hi, it's Zach Peter, your new favorite pop culture guru, serving you the hottest tea 3 times a week. From the latest news on the Real Housewives, deep dives into celebrity legal scandals, unfiltered convos with your favorite stars, and of course, the latest from Vanderpump Land, I've got you covered. And new episodes of the podcast are now available in video on Spotify. And they don't just let anybody do video, but this Platinum Blonde has won them over. So if you want the latest news from the ultimate tea spilling professional, tune in to No Filter with Zach Peter. That's No Filter with Zach Peter on your favorite podcast app now.
Tick tock, get up, stop. You put a can in your hand and just pop the top. Hey yo, Chris, what's up, love? What's that in your hand? It's an S to the P-R-I-T-E can. Understand the course, Chris drinks the crazy twist of unexpectedness that you should never miss. So what's your name, Daddy? M-A-C. And what you drink? S-B-R-I-T-E-Y. Cause it's a lifesaver when you need thirst, quenching like a kiss with a lime and twist. Now you know that's kicking. Word, so drink up is what you gotta do. Why? Cause I like the Sprite in you.
Let's welcome our next guest, Jeremy, to the show, who's a massive blockhead. Once again, thank you, Jeremy, a male blockhead. It's so nice to meet male blockheads.
Thank you.
How old were you when you got into New Kids?
I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
So it was back in 1990 when I got into them.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I will admit, I started off as a hater.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like them at first. I wasn't jealous or anything. I just didn't like them. But then I read a book on them, and, you know, I listened to Hangin' Tough, and it snowballed from there.
Then you kind of got more of a, what's the word to use? You kind of got insight into their lives and how this all happened. Maybe that helped you discover a passion for their music.
Yes, I gained a newfound appreciation that I didn't have before. And, you know, it's funny because I remember going to Kmart and buying a New Kids poster. And it kind of snowballed from there, from one poster to trading cards to, you know, magazines to having probably over 4,000 items in my collection.
Have you kept your collection?
Yes, I've kept everything, and I still add to it to this day.
That's impressive. Because a lot of us can't say that we still have all the same stuff, but we've spent the time getting as much as we can back now.
Mm-hmm.
And have you been to a lot of shows? Have you been on the cruise?
I have not been on the cruise. What's stopping me from that is I'm deathly afraid of flying.
Yeah.
And getting on a boat is a no-go for me. It's not happening. So, you know, I'm able to live vicariously through friends who go on the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And just last year, I don't know if you know Charlene Seal. She's one of my friends. She lives in Columbus. She went to the cruise, and, you know, I gave her the money, of course, and she brought me back some souvenirs, which I appreciate, but I haven't done the cruise, but I have seen them 17 times live in concert.
That's outstanding. I love that.
Thank you.
You've been driving around to see them too?
I can't legally drive, but I go with friends, or, you know, I'll take a Greyhound on my own to go and see them to and from. But I did see them opening night at Blossom Music Center in Cuyahoga Falls.
Nice.
And then the week after, I went to Burgettstown, PA to see them. And then I was going to do Hershey Park today. However, where I live in Youngstown, Ohio, to Hershey Park is a 4-hour drive, and I didn't want to do it, and I didn't have enough time to get me a ticket.
That's fair.
But I'm making up for it by going to Columbus to see them.
See, you still got it a decent amount of shows.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I'm up in Western Canada, and I went to 4 shows.
Oh, nice.
So I just flew down for Chicago, Detroit, and then supposed to fly for California, but our airline went on strike. So we drove. We drove to California.
That's awesome.
Made it happen. Now, a lot of these questions I'm trying to streamline to make sure that they suit you because some of them are for like the significant others and some are not. But so let me find how's your family feel about your love for New Kids on the Block, your family and friends? And when you meet new people, do you tell them about your Blockhead fandom?
Like my family is cool with it. You know, my sister is 5 years older than me. So you would have figured around that time she would have been the one into them and me hating them, you know, but it was the other way around. She doesn't hate them. She's gone with me to see them 3 times in concert. Only because she was the transportation. But you know, but like my friends, you know, I get good-natured teasing, you know, for liking them. I don't take it to heart.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, my friends and family, I mean, they're pretty cool with me liking them and seeing them in concert. You know, I remember, you know, my mom used to tell me that because, you know, my bedroom is so saturated with merchandise as a kid, my mom used to say if we ever had a house fire, my room would be the first one to ignite in flames because I had everything in it. And then now everything is boxed up and in the closet, but
I'm just glad you still have it. That's amazing. Did you go to BlockCon?
No, I didn't. Last year when BlockCon was happening, I lost my job. But quickly I found another one 6 weeks later. As much as I would have loved to have gone, I didn't. But if the opportunity ever arises, I would love to go again.
That would be fantastic. Especially, oh man, the stuff Donnie, you probably watched the YouTube videos and such, the stuff that Donnie brought on stage for merch, especially that sleeping bag.
Yes.
It was great. That was one of my best moments. I really enjoyed that.
It sounds like it was a lot of fun.
Do you share any characteristics with your favorite new kid? And who's your favorite new kid, if you have one?
My favorite new kid has always been Donnie.
Yeah.
And I've had the pleasure of meeting him at Wahlburgers in Cleveland, Ohio. And he is by far the nicest person I've ever met. And I met Jonathan as well. Personality wise, I wouldn't say I share any like personality traits with any of the new kids per se. Oh, now Zoom decides it wants to work on my laptop.
It's okay. We're doing good without it.
I've always, you know, every time I bumped into Donnie, whether it's, you know, seeing him at you know, like at Wahlburgers or a concert, you know, it's always been a very positive experience. And he's such a nice person.
He really is. And he really cares about everybody.
Oh, he does.
From a genuine place, which is refreshing.
It's rare these days to find that in celebrities.
What's your favorite New Kids album and era? Like, are you more partial to the old school or the new school?
I like both. I like the newest album that came out because it has an old school 80s feel to it.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate because when I close my eyes, it takes me back to like 1988, 89 when I was 11, 12 years old, you know, and I can just see myself roller skating at the skating rink, you know, to like Tiffany and Debbie Gibson and Paula Abdul and the new kids. But my favorite albums, I would say, are the like the albums that were released for the foreign markets that were never sold in the United States. For example, the albums that were sold in Japan. I have The Diamonds. I have More Hangin' Tough. I have like the Japanese pressing of the Face the Music album and such.
Cool.
Oh, and I have like Hits and Tour Souvenir Collection. The only one I don't have from Japan is Starbucks.
Yeah. Oh man, you're good. You're doing really good with your collection. And you're one of those fans who knows what Toasties is.
Oh yes. I remember the first time I heard Toasties was probably 92 91, 92 through a pen pal. They sent me a copy of the No More Games album, the Japanese pressing, and I had an extra track, Toasties. I'm listening to it. I'm like, this is a cute song. Why the hell is it on here?
It was so unexpected, especially for the remix album.
Right.
Yeah. Do you follow any of the guys' solo careers?
I didn't follow Jordan's, but I did follow Joe's for a while in the early 2000s. Funny story is I got to see him in concert in Boardman, Ohio on June 6th, 2000. And I happened to, at that time, it was my nephew's 6th birthday. And I'm like, do I go to my nephew's birthday party or do I see Joey McIntyre? Well, that was a no-brainer. I skipped a birthday party to go see him. And it was at a Clear Channel radio station. And I'm there, and it's so hot outside. And the security guard, he's like, who are you here to see? I said, Joey McIntyre. I said, sir, can I please have a chair to sit down on? He goes, sure. So he goes, here, I'm going to get you a chair. He goes, but I'm going to go on the radio station, but don't tell anyone what I'm doing. I'm like, okay. So he goes on the radio station and gets me his autograph on a hot pink sticky note.
Aww.
I still have it to this day. I laminated it. That way it wouldn't get ruined.
Smart.
And I remember I took my Lynn Goldsmith book with me, the big coffee table book.
I got it right behind me in my it's my favorite.
Mine too, and I feel so bad because I almost threw it over the stretch limousine at Joe with a Sharpie to have it autographed.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to get that signed. I don't have the original one that I had when I was a kid. I actually had a friend from my so-called whatever, the podcast. Nikki told me she found the book and then I bought it. And then my other friend, Paige, I had it shipped to her because they wouldn't ship to Canada. And she brought it to me.
Oh, wow.
So I'm grateful to those two for hooking me up with the book again. Pretty nice, eh?
Oh, very nice. Yes.
But to wrap things up, do you find that the fandom is different for men than it is for women in any way for you? Or do you find it just embracing equally?
I would say it's different. I would say the men are more reserved and stoic at the concerts. I don't really see any. I mean, I see men at the concerts there, with their girlfriends and wives, but I don't see them getting into it. It's like, okay, I'm here now. What?
They don't get but jumping up and down and all crazy.
Right, but for me, I don't care. I let loose. I have fun at their shows.
Excellent.
I always have a blast when I see them live.
Oh, and they're going to love seeing you have that good time too. And you're in a safe place where all the fans and women there would appreciate your enthusiasm.
Oh, thank you.
So, I've definitely seen you on the social media before, but I never had a chance to talk to you until today. So thank you, Jeremy. It's been really cool meeting you.
Oh, you're welcome.
My next guest is a friend. He's a friend of the show. He's been on the show before. So has his son, Jax, as well as one of the first people on this episode that I've actually know in person. So I'd love to welcome Joseph to the episode, as he is a male blockhead. So did you hear our WestJet flight got canceled by a strike?
I saw that.
And so the strike lasted 2 days. So my buddy Jimmy and I just hopped in the car and drove to Rebecca's place and to the shows. And wow. I'd never driven that far in my life.
How many hours was that?
22 to Roseville and then 24 back from San Francisco home.
Oh my gosh.
We did it.
That's crazy. You did it though. Hey, it seems like like almost every blockhead has some type of story where they've had to end up driving and something's happened, and it's just been a catastrophe, but it's all worked out, It's
And
crazy. And Tracy, yeah.
Yes. Like her and Smooth when they did like the 2022 tour with the air fryer in the car and they just drove all around America. That was so cool. I'm like, hey, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it.
Exactly. I'm too ADHD and like all over the place to sit in a car that long. Like it would drive me crazy.
Well, it's hard to like. Unfortunately, my friend isn't able to drive, so I'm like, dude, you just keep me awake, and then he passes out within 20 minutes. He's out.
That's him and I are friends now on Facebook. He's a really cool guy.
Yeah, I hope you guys get to meet someday. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, me too. I just been keeping up with him. I was like, man, and he popped up on my recommended for like friends. Like, I'm gonna friend this guy. Like, I'm just keeping up with him. Like, he's a really cool guy. I like him.
Yeah, he's a host of a morning show here in Edmonton on the radio. So
I didn't know that.
So he gets up to all kinds of crazy antics for the show. Yeah, Jimmy's done it all.
Sounds about right. Yeah, sounds about right. So, did you enjoy everything in your concert?
Yep. Oh, it was all worth the trip. Absolutely. And doing the 4th of July down there was awesome too, because like that's a party.
Oh yeah. I bet it was.
We missed our Canada Day because we were driving the entire day and we had plans to do stuff in San Francisco for Canada Day. That obviously got canceled. So Rebecca and everybody made it really nice at their house and helped us celebrate Canada Day at the same time. So it was really cool.
Rebecca's amazing. She came down to Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really cool to be able to see everybody. It's just cool how everybody just comes everywhere and they just like go in pods,
Oh yeah, we love Rebecca and her husband Tyrone. Have you met Tyrone yet?
I haven't met Tyrone.
See, you guys got to hang out one day. Yeah, I think you'd get along great.
No, absolutely.
Welcome, Joseph, to Dope Nostalgia once again. How are you?
Doing well. How about you? It's so good seeing you.
Yes, and it's so cool because you're one of the few guests I've had on the show that I've met in person several times now. So welcome back. And your son is
having me. I appreciate it.
Your son's a big blockhead too, Jax. We know Jax.
Absolutely, he's become a really huge blockhead. It's been really, really cool. Really cool to see that passing it down generation and generation.
Oh, I guess you guys have a running joke with Donnie that Donnie is Jax's real dad.
Yeah. Well, so the very first time that we went, Bird got a shirt made for him, and it was a thumbprint, and it said I forgot what it's like. Donnie is a real dad, and we show up to the meet and greet, and Donnie's first words are, "You're gonna get me in trouble with Jenny." And then we went, and so like we were sitting on the stage, and Donnie paid attention to him, and then the second night we went, like the next day, and Donnie recognized him, and Jackson walks in and goes, "Son," or he goes, "Dad," and Donnie goes, "Son," and so they hit it off ever since then. And he'll we'll put messages on Instagram, and sometimes Donnie will reply, and then we were actually able to see him in St. Charles at Wahlburgers for Jackson's birthday, and so they got to hang out and do all kinds of stuff, which was really cool. And Donnie actually led Jack. I don't know if I was supposed to say this, but Donnie actually took Jax aside because we weren't allowed to do this, but took Jax aside and gave Donnie, a teenager, right, his phone and say, "Okay, pick what songs you want to listen to from the new album," and before they even came out. So Jackson got to listen to, I think, 3 or 4 songs from the album before anybody else. Yeah, so that was really cool, and then we got to see him, again this tour, and so actually the running joke is, and we started this when we saw him in St. Charles, is Donnie started calling us the co-dads. So Donnie and I told Donnie if he cannot be labeled as a parent if he's not going to give me some royalties or money for my son. So we're gonna be co-dads. And so the running joke now is that we're co-dads, the best co-dads, co-parenting. Still waiting for the college money or car money, but I haven't seen it yet. So until then, we're just gonna stay co-dads.
That's okay. That's okay. He's providing also that emotional support there. So that's nice. So Donnie.
Exactly. But he's made my son incredibly happy too, So I mean, of course, I have to hear all the time that, yeah, Jackson adores him. So that's okay. Makes my son smile, and it's okay with me.
I'm gonna have to get Jack some more of those coffee crisp chocolate bars.
Dude, he loves those.
So next time he sees Donnie, he can give them to Donnie too.
Yes, I know Donnie. Yeah, Donnie loves those. So
yeah, no, absolutely. What did you think of New Kids when you were growing up? Like, when did you get into them?
oh, man, it was. I'm trying to think. I think officially probably in around the 5th grade. Fifth grade is when I started really getting into them. I saw them the very first time. It was my birthday, and mom surprised me and took me to the Houston Astrodome where they were, and I was wearing. I can remember. So remember back in the day in the 80s, how multicolored were the things. So I bought spandex. So I was wearing spandex with no shorts over them. So just straight spandex with a T-shirt. My mom got, the scalper gave, we got really good tickets and got a free New Kids shirt with it. But we were like in the very, very back of the Houston Astrodome. I'm talking about the very, very top. So it looked like little tiny ants where we're at. But I enjoyed every single moment of it and been following it ever since. And I even, we went to a concert and to watch Joey in Dallas. We got to stay after and I got to tell Joey that I actually wrote a letter to him. I was like, hey, I really want to join the New Kids on the Block. And this was what I wrote as a kid, but they never, obviously never let me join. But yeah, I loved them. And I don't know, it's just been a really cool thing, because I saw a video the other day. There's a guy who was talking about how he used to be he was a really big fan of the New Kids on the Block. But back then, as a guy, it wasn't really cool. And so you had to kind of keep it a secret or whatever. But now it's like the cool thing to be a New Kids on the Block fan. So
it is.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, nobody teases anymore, and it's beautiful. Like, and I mean, I think there's a lot more emphasis now on don't be ashamed of the things you like. Just like what you like. Enjoy life. You can't help what you like.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also because after New Kids, I mean, of course you have like New Edition, but after New Kids, you had this open up of, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and all these other boy bands. And so boy bands were actually they became a cool thing. And so that whole persona of boy bands was just went away.
It's true. It's like how New Edition did pave the road for the boy bands, but New Kids made it so that, well, I've said it before, New Kids walked so Backstreet and NSYNC could run.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. They did the groundwork to make it what it is today. So thanks, guys. Okay, which of the New Kids would you want to hang out with and spend a day doing stuff with? And what do you think you would do?
Honestly, I mean, so back in the day, I would have sent Joey. Like, that'd have been the guy that I want to hang out with. But now I would say, I know this is weird because everybody's a Donnie girl, right? So, okay, so I used to not really care about Jonathan, but I love Jonathan. I think he's amazing. I love Jonathan. Jordan's not bad, but he's just not my thing. Danny, I love how Danny likes to work out, but he's too much of an introvert for me. Joey, I really like Joey a lot. I love how, much of a smart aleck he is and how hilarious he is. And I like doing the bike riding and I like the meditating, stuff like that. So I like that part of Joey, but because of the way Donnie has connected with Jax, and I'm just seeing this more of his personality, how much he loves and cares for other people and how he like jumps on his like private plane. Because Joey's cheap. Joey likes doing the regular class, not first class, right, on a plane. I'm kind of bougie. I want to be in the first class or a private jet. So I want to have to say Donnie on this one. I want to hang out with Donnie because I want to be on a private jet. I want to live the bougie life. Yeah, I want to be like the bougie lifestyle for a little bit, travel a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't be bad to hang out with Jenny too, right? I mean, so if you hang out with Donnie, you get to hang out with Jenny. So it's kind of a win-win.
She seems like she'd be really fun to hang out with and talk girl stuff.
No,
because
I agree.
Because like she's not afraid of saying anything. She's not one of those people who's all like, "Ew, I can't believe you said that." She says anything, and I love that.
I know. She's not worried about backlash. Like she's gonna be who she's gonna be. You know, same as him, and that's why like that's why I love them as a couple, and just not just a couple of individuals because they're real. Like they're not fake like a lot of these other couples that you see, but they're actually genuine and real. And even if you don't like it, right? That's what I love. I love the realness of them, especially Donnie. Like I love it. Yeah. And another thing is like I don't know if you've been watching this, but and I hate this is happening, but people groping the guys, you know, especially like Donnie's butt. And I remember Donnie said, "I don't ever do this, but my butt is for my wife. Like so, stop grabbing it."
Amen.
And I love how he was able to, you know, he said something that was unpopular, right? It would be unpopular to a lot of people and turn some people up, and I'm glad that he stood up for that and against that kind of stuff and said, "Hey, this is sacred. This is for my wife." So I thought that was great.
That's true character. That just shows his character. And
absolutely,
I think
absolutely.
You know, then there's the whole. I'm kind of tired of hearing the debate about in these groups on Facebook about the alcohol part of it, saying that, well, they need to stop. Some people are like, they need to stop selling alcohol at the shows. No. You know what? I can get drunk and know how to handle myself.
Absolutely.
All alcohol does is enhance people's shittiness. They're already a shitty person. It's just making
exactly.
It's just letting them. Yeah. So
it shows their true colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. It shows their true colors. And here's the deal: is if you cannot be a grown adult and a responsible adult, then one, don't drink.
Yeah.
But if you do drink, then stay out of that environment if you can't control yourself. You know, you're a grown adult.
These are people who are not self-aware. They should be, they obviously have not been told, or they just don't care what they're like. Maybe they so.
This may be an unpopular thing to say, but I mean, maybe it's like they get charges filed against them because I can't just go around and grope a girl and get away with it, you know? Mm-hmm. And so maybe, I mean, that's what bugs me is like these people think it's okay just to do that and get away with it. Just because they're a celebrity, hey, I did this. It's so cool. I mean, it's not right regardless of who it is. But I mean, I love that people that go there and enjoy themselves and have fun and seeing like the young blockheads go in there have fun. But I hate the fact that there's some people out there who want to sit there and try to ruin it for everybody else. You know, who want to feel like they're entitled and spoiled little brats. You know, it's not okay to do. No, not to anybody in society.
I do think that the majority of people that are engaging in shitty behavior aren't like hardcore blockheads as it is. I think they're the type of that are just going to the show for a girls' night out or whatever, and they like New Kids when they were kids. So I think
the true fans are the ones that have true respect for them, the culture, just
them as human beings,
right? Exactly. Yeah. And I think you're right. A lot of these are probably just new people who are coming out. Oh, they're famous. Oh, I'm going to get drunk and do this stupid stuff. I mean, I don't think these people are true blockheads. And if they are, then they need to be delisted as a true blockhead. They don't deserve it.
Amen. Yes.
What?
Hey, what do your friends and family think about you guys doing all these events and all this New Kid stuff? Are they into it?
Oh yeah. So my mom has always loved it. I mean, she thought it was really cool because she always followed like Journey and Rod Stewart and all these other people. Like, so that's where I kind of got it from. Even my dad, you know, he loved all that music, but he didn't like, he wasn't crazy like my mom. My mom, she's crazy in a good way. So my mom started taking me to all these when I was younger. So one, it's really cool for me to be able to do it with my son, you know, to carry that on. But what's really cool is, so I took Jax, you know, back when the last time they toured before that, we took him, and then we were actually able to get a ticket. And my mom went with us. So it was Jax, my mom, and I, and then of course Bird and Jennifer and the rest of our crew. Right, we were all there, and so it was really cool to have my mom there. But the really cool thing though is Yeah, so my dad was always like, "Oh, cool, yeah, whatever." But my dad's actually really extra excited and cool about this because one, they both love Blue Bloods, right? They love Blue Bloods, and
Yeah.
I'll just say right now, I've never watched Blue Bloods. I want to watch Blue Bloods, but I have this whole long list of things I got to watch, right? So it's on
Yeah.
my list, and I will watch it, right? And if Donnie's watching this, I'm sorry, but but the but they love Blue Bloods, but also the thing that they found really cool and they love about him and what makes them New Kids fans is that the way that Donnie interacts with Jackson, the way that he loves and cares about Jax, and I think that goes with anybody too, right? I mean, they really don't, they really have their kind of opinions until like it really, I think, affects them personally in one way or another, and I think that's really what draws them in more. So, my that's actually brought a lot more attention in my family to the new kids. Even though they knew I liked the new kids, they actually have more interest now in it, knowing that the connection that Jackson and I have with Donnie.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably a lot more respect for them now, knowing what they're all about and how many years they've been in the business entertaining people and making people happy.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but it's they see that they're not just stars, but they actually are investing personally into their fans, right? They're being genuine, they're being real, and I think and that's integrity, right? So that goes a long way, and just with life with anybody, you show integrity, you show realness, you show you cut down all these barriers, and you're like, hey, I'm a movie star, I'm staying away. No, he cuts down those walls and he interacts and he's actually true and loving and caring toward other people. And I think I know exactly that's why I'm a big time. I'm a Donnie guy, and that's why Jackson's like that, and that's why my family's been like that as well.
That's amazing. Like they don't have to be even doing this anymore. They really don't. But I
No,
think they do it because they still
no,
love what they do and they love us. So yeah, it's nice. It's like a
yeah,
family.
absolutely. Oh, it is, and that's why I like. I mean, meeting people like like you. I mean, I know we had a really fun time on the cruise. I mean, especially
Yep.
like the very last day, how we took turns, holding spots and all this stuff. I mean, just but like you're like my extended family, and we get to
Yeah.
like talk to each other and send each other stuff on Instagram, like funny messages or whatever. Like it's just you get to have this extended family and grow, and we know like if something were to happen to me or something happen to you, that we're going to be there to help whoever needs that help. And that's just thank God for the Blockhead family because of the new kids, and we get to continue that.
Yeah, look at all the cool friends we've made. I really liked razzing you during the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Okay, I'm
For
still a
those who
little
don't
sore
know,
about that.
I'm from Edmonton. You're a Dallas Stars fan, right? We were up
Dallas
against
Stars
each
fan.
other.
God.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't think we were going to beat them. I didn't.
I thought we were going to kill you. I mean, I think I told you. I think I told you we're going to take you in five or six games. I believe that's what I told you.
Mm-hmm.
And after the first or second game, I was like, "Oh crap, this is not going to end well." Like, and then I take my sports seriously. I try not to, but I saw you sending me stuff on Instagram. I'm like, I'm not even going to look at it. I'm not going to look at this message. I gotta let a day or so pass because I just
your heart
I
can't
just get
handle
too
it.
My heart couldn't handle it, especially the very last game. I was like, the very last game after it ended, I see ding, ding, ding from you, right? Dumb nostalgia. I'm like, okay, I got to at least take about 2 or 3 days to even look at this.
That's
But then,
fair.
at that time, I was able to look at it and appreciate it and not be as butthurt, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was, but it was. I mean, it was a great series. It was a great series, and I'm really, really actually glad if it wasn't stars, it was y'all. So.
When we were doing our meet and greets in Detroit, I was trying to think of something cool to talk to about with the guys, like briefly or whatever, especially Jordan, because you want to engage Jordan in a conversation if you can. And it was the day after the Celtics won the NBA final. So the guys had just got back from Boston, back to the show. And so when I hugged each of them, I was like, go Celtics, go Celtics. I'm happy for you guys. And then I said to Jordan, because I know he's a hockey guy, right? Isn't he? His kids played hockey and
yeah.
I think he's definitely a Bruins fan. So I said to him, "Have you been following the Stanley Cup playoffs?" And he's like, "Not really. Why?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm from Edmonton." And we were in game 4 or something of the finals at this point. We were down 3 games to 1, but we won the last game 8-1. Okay. So anyway, we take the picture, and then I thought Jordan would just, go on to the next person. And he turns to me and he goes, "So how are they doing?" I'm like, he's actually going to talk to me. Okay. So I'm like, well, we need to win the next 3 games straight to win the cup. So it's kind of scary. And he's like, "Well, I thought they were doing really well." And I'm like, then I didn't know what to say. Because at that time, I did not know that they had won the last game 8 goals to 1, right? So I just mumbled some bullshit about, "Oh yeah, McDavid scored a few and derp. Don't have anything important to add to the conversation. I at that point, so I'm like, "Okay, bye."
It's funny. So it's funny you say that because I don't think anybody expects Jordan to carry on conversations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we go to the, I think it's a meet and greet in Dallas. We do the not Dallas, Austin. We go to meet and greet in Austin. We go, we see Donnie. We're jumping around with him, happy to see him. Kodak thing. And then, Donnie starts talking to me about something, and then Jordan's right next to him. So Jackson goes to Jordan. Well, as I'm going from Donnie to Jordan, Donnie was like, "Hey, Jackson, come here, I want to take a picture with you." And then he saw that Jordan was actually trying to carry on a conversation with Jax, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jax didn't know how to handle it because we, Jackson's seen Jordan a lot, and Jordan's never carried on conversation. But Jordan was actually starting conversation with Jax. And, any other new kid girls would be like, "Oh my God," talking and so forth. Jackson's like just seriously just sitting there like, I don't know what to say. And so I'm over there and like answering questions for Jax. Donnie's trying to get Jax over there to take a picture with him. But then Donnie's like, "No, never mind. You're talking or whatever." But I just thought it was really funny because, Jordan doesn't really talk a whole lot. And here Jordan's actually starting conversations with Jackson, trying to talk to Jackson, having conversations with Jackson, and Jackson's just kind of ignoring him. So I just thought, it's like, Jackson, come on. But he's also a teenager. So, I mean, I can't really expect a whole lot.
I think Jordan warms up to people. He does. I think he gets a bad rap from people because he's quiet. He's allowed to be quiet. Like, he's just who he is. If you expected him to be somebody else, he's never been like, "Hey, how's it going?" That's just not him.
Yeah. I just thought it was really cool that he was actually like engaging and carrying on the conversation. I wasn't used to that, and Jackson wasn't used to that. So it's like, just like you said, like when he starts that, and you're like, "Okay, what do I say next?" He's actually talking to me.
I know. At that point, I wish I'd done more homework on the stats. But also we have like maybe 30 seconds before they're going to kick us out of here, right? So we got to go.
Dude, they were pushing it through quickly, weren't they?
Oh yeah. So I just kept trying to, and then I felt bad because I felt like I monopolized Jordan's time. So I just need to like calm down and move on. Anyway,
it's okay, but you're a Jordan girl, so that's perfect.
Yeah, I was just happy to finally have like a conversation. It was great. Now let me see. We've already answered a lot of the questions that I have here. Oh, have you ever done anything embarrassing for the New Kids on the Block?
Yeah,
like something completely silly.
Well, I mean, I think I talked about this before on your show, but yeah. So when I was younger, well, one, writing a letter and even talking about it now that, "Hey, I want to be part of the New Kids. Please make me a New Kid," right? This long letter. But after a San Antonio show, my mom is like just a guru on following bands, right? So, she knew when to leave the concert and to follow these bands. Well, there's two black bands. One of them stopped, so she said, "Okay, get out," and it was like a decoy. And so she goes, "Okay, keep running," right? So I'm sitting there running down the sidewalk, and I get over. Well, one, just chasing after a van. I'm a young 5th grader, or maybe it's sixth grade at the time, but just running right after the New Kids on the Block. And then, stopping because they're getting out of the van, in the hotel behind me is opening up their bay door, and then me getting like trampled by the New Kids. I mean, it's a cool story, but it's also kind of embarrassing, right? Because that was honestly my only interaction I ever really had with them until I became an adult. Then I actually got to like have an interaction where it didn't involve like them trying to run away from people like me and so forth. So
it was a totally different time, that's for sure. Back in the day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it definitely was. It's really coll though to be able to live your dream. To be able to actually be able to sit there and talk to them and hug them and shake their hands and have conversations. It's still like I'm just, I don't know, in a dream.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that you made the time to talk today. It's been a while since we had a chance to, so thank you.
No, absolutely. So my question to you, I have a question for you. So which part of the concert do you like was your favorite? I mean, because you have all these new, you have like all these new songs. Like I will tell you, like I did not have high expectations because like, I don't know, like I saw the lineup, like DJ Jazzy Jeff. And so, I mean, I liked seeing him. It's really cool because I love seeing him on Prince of Bel-Air.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I love Paula Abdul, right? She's smoking hot. So who doesn't like Paula Abdul? But I was like, dude, she's pretty old. Like at this time, like what she can do, how she can do. So, so my expectations were not that high, but it just seems like Donnie is always just always elevating into the next, right? He's always doing a great job. So what was your favorite part of the concert? What were you impressed with?
I think the part that I really loved the most, which I found surprising that it happened, was their version of games. Because they did the old step-by-step version with the old rap, and then they went into the newer version of games that they do with like, this is how we do it, and the new rap. And I was just like, this is killer that they did both.
Yes. That was really cool.
Love that.
Yeah, that was really cool. I would tell you my favorite one, and I'm biased here because the kids. So how they're playing the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy Bird, Jackson, and I made I don't know if she told you or you saw it, but we actually made the video.
Yes.
So it was cool to be able to actually see us on the video board doing our dance, even though we weren't like great because all these other people that are on board did way better than we did. But it was
so happy for you guys.
But the cool thing is though, is that dance, we actually did it probably an hour before, about an hour and a half, across from where Donnie got married, but also an hour and a half before we saw Donnie at Wahlburgers.
Mm-hmm.
So we had just filmed that dance. It was cold outside and everything, but we sat there and learned it like 30 minutes, and we did it, and boom, there you go. But we actually made the board, so I was being biased. I love that song, but it was also really cool to see my family up on the board.
Yes,
it was really cool.
Now, did you know that was going to happen already before you saw it, or when you saw it live, when you're like, oh my goodness, that's us?
No. So I had several people, especially Bird. She goes like 30 of these a year. She's like, hey, we made the board, and she had she knew she was coming up to some other ones, so she had confirmed like other shows. Yeah, it was coming. So and of course people were taking videos and so forth and said, hey, here y'all are. So we knew it was coming, and it was exciting. But to be able to like be there in person and then see it, and Jackson and I high-fiving each other and just getting excited about it. It was a cool experience, right?
Yes.
We're like our own little mini rock stars, just him and I in this house.
Oh, I love you guys. You guys are so great, and he's such a good kid.
We love you.
He's such a good kid.
I would get him on here right now, but he's started football practice this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know this about teenagers, but when they're tired and when they're hungry, they're not good at socializing. So I'm not going to put him in front of you to talk.
How old is he now?
He's 14.
My niece
is 14. He started his freshman year in high school. And when he first started talking to him, I think he was in starting 7th grade, I think it was. No, I think when you first talked to him, he was 6th grade. He was at the end of 6th grade year. Yep.
Yeah, because wasn't it during 2020?
Yep.
Or like late in 2020, something like that, when we did those
something like that.
Those YouTube videos. I did a few of those. You guys can check out
He was
on our
11
YouTube
years
channel.
old.
Yeah. Time's flown by. All the kids who do that now are just like, wow, that was forever ago. And it really was. Feels like yesterday for me. But yeah, no.
But it was fun.
Kid.
It was a cool memory too. Yeah, thank you so much. He really is a great kid. I'm very, very blessed. He's turned out really well. A lot better than me, and that's all that matters.
Shout out to Jax. We love you, man.
Shout out. We love you, Jax.
And my final guests today are very good friends of mine. You may know Rebecca from Barstool Besties on Instagram, as well as Meow Meow Crew and NKOTB Meow Meow Crew, as her and Chrissy head that up, and it's awesome all over social media. So you might have run into Rebecca at some of the concerts. Her husband, Tyrone, is also a friend, and I saved these guys for last because we always have the most fun conversations. We laugh. We have so much fun over Zoom and in person. So welcome both Tyrone and Rebecca to Dope Nostalgia. Hey, Tyrone. Welcome to Dope Nostalgia.
Hey, Naomi.
So for our listeners, I just spent almost a good chunk of a week living with Rebecca and Tyrone in California.
Long enough either. We needed more Naomi time.
It was so much fun.
I'm glad you came for the hottest time it's ever been here.
Hottest time it's ever been. It was 4th of July. We brought my good friend
Jimmy. You guys were out in
Jimmy.
the pool one night until like 4 o'clock in the morning.
The very first night I got there because I was trying to unwind from my extreme stressful feelings of driving that drive.
Well, that was a long drive.
Involved the pool and the alcohol and the good conversations, and it was great.
That's what we do here.
So you just described every day.
Well, before this podcast comes out, there will be the one that Jimmy and I do together to describe our trip. So to add any enlightenment to what we're about to conversate about, then people will understand. But yeah. So
I still find it fascinating. I think you just said today about Jimmy sleeping outside every day and trying to convince everybody that no, he did that voluntarily.
It was voluntarily. And I think that like when he talked about it on his radio show, I swear like his co-host was trying to be like, see, they made you sleep outside.
We were totally like, you make sure everybody knows we are not making you. This is your decision.
We are not responsible for his decision to sleep outside.
I'm like,
right now.
Didn't you kind of feel like you're a little bit of a slow cooker and the sun's coming up in the morning? You're slowly being burnt alive.
It was really hot.
That's how I woke up.
But because he's a morning person because of his job, maybe he woke up with the sun and it all made sense. It wouldn't work for me. Too much of a night person. I wouldn't be able to do it. But Jimmy, yeah, for sure.
It was amazing. I was like, okay.
But yeah, Tyrone and Rebecca have been married for many years. How many years?
24 this November.
Yes.
Unless you count when we eloped.
Then 25 this December.
Oh, you should count the elopement. Yeah.
Well, we never did because my mom would have killed us. So we never said anything until she passed away. I told my dad the next day, and he's like, wait, what? I didn't know that.
So she never knew.
She never knew.
She'd be like, I need you to pay for that wedding.
So we never told
her.
So we have 2 anniversaries.
Okay, well, Tyrone, are you a blockhead? Would you consider yourself a blockhead?
No, them people are crazy.
He's witnessed the crazy firsthand on several occasions. One thing Jimmy made a comment to me about the other day is that you and him had good laughs about when we were kind of like rehearsing for the meet and greet.
Oh, yes.
That one morning, because he was kind of like, they do this, they practice it.
And I will volunteer to be the Jordan stand-in with the resting bitch face at any time.
Yeah, it's like, well, we don't always practice it, but it's kind of funny. I think it was more to entertain ourselves than actually practice it.
No, I want to say every tour season, I see many rehearsals.
Not of me though.
No, but a lot of your friends.
That's because I'm friends with Adrian.
Tyrone, what did you think of the new
You got a
kids
script.
when you were growing up? What did you think of the new kids when you were growing up?
Well, I don't know that they were very popular because I remember all of the few girls that liked the new kids when I was in like school being made fun of a lot.
Mm-hmm. The girls?
Oh yeah. And then by the time like we'd been married, like they were broken up and there's all the new kids were at that point was a bunch of dolls that boxed up in the garage.
He made me throw away.
He sat there for like 10 years.
But then you had me throw them away.
Getting shit on by rats.
And then you sent me to throw in the box. And then they got back together again.
You don't know. That could be why they got back together.
You made me throw away my shit.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have you yourself been to a show?
I have seen them twice.
Twice. How long ago?
There's one I saw in San Jose.
I Heart the 80s.
That was a long time ago.
That was 18, I think, 2018. And then you went to when I got my first bar stool. The one I met Chrissy at. Tyrone got a seat to watch.
So that would have been 19.
Freak out with my first bar stool with the guys being close. He went to watch it.
That wasn't that long ago. Okay.
So yeah, so I went to that so I could sit like in the very last row and see all them crazy people in the front row.
What was your favorite part of going to the show?
The pre-drinking.
I enjoyed that. I especially enjoyed the pre-drinking at the last show we went to together because it was a nice, cool spot with a big fan and everybody was there.
Oh, yes.
It was a real sweet time.
We took
So I would probably not go to any more group shows, but I will go to Solo Joe anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Solo Joe's amazing.
Yeah, because it's a different kind of entertainment. Like it's just solid, good vocals, and yeah, I can understand that. Joe is a fantastic singer.
It's entertaining, it's funny. They bring you drinks to your seat. What's not to love?
The atmosphere is different, right? More loungy.
Oh yeah.
Now when you and Rebecca met, did you already know she was a blockhead? Like when did you find that out in your relationship?
I don't think that really came up because they weren't together at the time.
We got together in
99.
So
there was a lot of other boy bands back then.
But did she care about the other boy bands that were there then? Were you BSB in sync? Were you into it?
You remember?
I don't remember.
So we worked at Sears, and that's when they did a BSB thing, and we had like posters. So all of us girls, we put the posters up behind all the registers because we had the video games in the boys section. So we put all the
they did
BSB pictures up.
I don't remember any of this.
Oh, I say they. I meant me. I put all the posters up all over the boys' side of Sears.
I probably got to work. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, he worked with me at that point. So, and even then, I wasn't a big. I mean, I had Millennium, but that was the only other boy band that I had a CD of, and I really didn't get back into New Kids until they got back together.
I remember the Sears Millennium promotion because my friend had worked there at the time, and she got me one of those great big like pictures of them, and I'm like, I know I'm 20 years old now, but I'm still gonna hang this in my house.
See, I think Grip System at that time, afterwards became Twilight.
Oh yeah. Then I liked Edward.
You and all your friends and Edward and the big Edward cutouts and the Edward blankets and I think that really held you over until the New Kids got back together.
Thank you, Twilight, for holding me over.
So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, your wife's like, "Oh, New Kids on the Block got back together," and she's losing her shit. And then you were like, "What?"
No, I threw the shit away because he made me. And then, yes.
Yes. Although I don't think, I mean, you went to some shows, and I think it's not Joe, but until like in the 2019 tour when we're convinced to get the
Well, that was
Barstool.
Andy convinced us.
See, if we hadn't gone to see Joe,
When I used to tell Naomi.
so we went to, what was it, Hollywood Nights. His first solo, when he did his first one of his first solo shows. And yeah, you know, at the club you have to wait forever to get in. And so I think maybe online somehow you had met Mandy, and who just ended up standing behind us in line. And so we were there for quite some time. And she had convinced Rebecca that she needed to get a bar stool for the best experience for her next show.
And I did.
And so she did, which was then, you know, how you met your friend Chrissy, and kind of like
How I got to know
everything
you.
else is kind of cascaded from there.
Yeah.
You just, if somebody else had stood in line, I mean, I could probably be retired.
You know, but that's just how blockheads are, though. Like, you know, you share your experience, and she really wasn't convincing me as much as I needed her to convince you that it was a good
I
experience.
remember 3 things from that show. I remember her doing that. I remember we were just behind the VIP, so we had to stand, and the person that right there next to us, puking her guts out all over the floor. And 3, this person that was behind us in line, we all go to the bar. They asked me to get their drinks, and Becca wanted like a shot of Maker's Mark or something. And Mandy says, "Can I get a shot of Bailey's?" And I, very embarrassing, have to go up to the bar and be like, "So this girl wants a shot of Bailey's. Is that like a thing?" And they
It's
just look at me
warm.
like,
It's gross.
they're like, "Whatever the fuck you want." I just want to be clear, it wasn't for me. I'm like,
I'm a seasoned drinker, and there's a certain time and place for a Bailey's, and that's not the time or place for the Bailey's.
I mean, like, you put Bailey's in something, you don't drink Bailey's.
Yeah. And because I know you guys now so well and we're such good friends, I can ask you the real deep questions that I haven't asked people I've met for the first time on this.
Anything.
Okay.
Do I have a Joe mask for him to wear? No, I do not.
I'm not even getting there yet.
But did you have one?
I've never had one. I could
haven't?
get one. We could get one. That would be fine.
I don't remember.
This is funny because this is a question
A
I thought of
question?
earlier today. We're getting there. Do you each have a hall pass?
No, we didn't never really discuss them.
You don't have the hall pass idea? No.
It has never come up.
We've discussed it with other people. I know I've discussed with all my friends about what their hall passes are, but we never really discussed hall passes.
Okay.
I guess he knows who I'd want.
Yours is obvious. Joey Joe.
Mhm.
Yeah. But what if what
You
if
know.
he had a hall pass? Who would it
And
be?
you know, what's that?
Who would your hall pass be?
No one?
See how great I am? We don't really have hall passes. I think
Okay.
we like each other enough to know that we're probably not going to cheat. Although I did tell him one time that I probably wouldn't most likely sleep with Joe if it came up.
You wouldn't, hold on. You wouldn't most likely sleep with Joe. Is that what you said?
Probably most likely,
Probably
but
most
not.
likely not, maybe. Could be no, yes.
Depends on how much weight I lose.
That is about a 94% chance that she would not sleep with Joe.
Yes,
Okay.
Maybe.
maybe.
Okay.
Could be.
Most likely.
Plus, probably.
I mean, I really don't think I would,
Maybe.
but
Definitely not.
I mean, because I really like
But
him.
sometimes
Would you
yes.
at least tell Tyrone first?
That I was going to sleep with Joe? No. I'd probably tell him after. I'm like, oh my God.
So would this be like after that San Jose show when you sat down on the floor and you're like, "I have a John hand"? You touched new kid for the first because you touched a new kid for the first time ever, and you're like, "I have a John hand." And
Yeah, but
then
wait,
what
child
would you?
is here.
So then what would you say?
The first time that I touched John, I said I had a John hand.
I think it was the first time you touched any new kid.
So we were joking around that I'd come home from having sex with Joe and like, Tyrone, I have a Joe.
Yes.
And
A
mouth?
Joe what? Doubtful.
Vagina.
Definitely not mouth.
Yeah, not mouth.
What would you call it, Joe Vagina? I don't know.
Joey
broken. That's what you'd call it. It's broken.
Walking really awkwardly, and he'd be like, "Oh my God, you did it, didn't you?" And he'd be like, "Oh my God, I did, and it hurt. So you should feel a little happy that it was so painful."
They'd be like, the Joe rumors are true.
It was for science. It was
my
for
throat
science.
hurts. It's so sore, my throat. That's so big that my throat hurts.
See, there'd be no Danny rumors because everybody watched the video.
That was a little muffled, which is good, but I understood what you just said. All right. Tyrone, I have a new line of questioning for you.
Are you sure you want to?
Yeah, I'm right. No, this is good. This is good. Which of the new kids would you want to hang out with, and what would you do? Like just some fun activities. Who would it be?
To hang out with?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely have to be John.
John, what would you guys do?
We build shit.
Sweet. Anything in mind that you'd like to build?
I don't know. But I think we would have the most common interest.
Yeah?
Oh, I have them all ranked.
He does.
Yes, let's hear it.
Definitely John. I think we would think he is the most, I don't know, down to earth, but just more commonly aligned.
Yeah.
Right? And then Joe, because Joe's just awesome. I mean, he's just more of an entertainer, but it's fun. Then
His dog next to our bed.
see, then in third and fourth, it gets harder because like I appreciate Donnie as an entertainer, and I think that's just really like he is more of a persona than anything else. So, yeah. But I think Danny is more open about who he is, and so I think like how he acts or how he tends to be. I don't think is any surprise to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I also would enjoy, a return of the woodworks. Just saying. I'm missing new Danny recipes.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Danny you need a recipe book.
Well,
we had one of those. We had one of those recipes.
Yes, we did. We had the although it took Tyrone forever to cook it.
Oh,
the
one I forgot about when I was drunk.
Well, it's still
okay.
Good, right?
I have to ask. So, when you first put it in the oven, was the oven turned on?
God only knows.
Because I took a scoop out when the alarm went off, and then we took the casserole. You took the casserole out. I took a scoop of it, but the chicken wasn't cooked yet.
Yes, it was very pink.
Damn, Molly didn't eat it yet. I just said, Tyrone, look at the chicken. I don't know. And you're like,
and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta put that in the oven. And then I put it in the oven until it almost caught on fire.
Oh,
and then it was really well done.
And the thing is, I have made Danny's casserole countless times before. It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate on the 4th of July to have fucked it up so badly.
It was like chicken artichoke casserole, right?
Yeah, because it's got chicken. It's diced chicken thighs, artichoke hearts, sliced mushrooms, and then it's got a topping of like mayonnaise and Parmesan cheese and something else I'm forgetting. And it's really good.
I did.
Just check out the Woodworks. There's lots of good recipes on there. I highly recommend lots of them. I mean, and you're like a Joey girl with like Jordan tendencies, and then so many of your friends are. I just can't.
Like the one we're talking to.
Yes,
this
all
ain't
of
a
your
tendency.
friends.
This ain't a tendency.
No, her and her tendencies.
I know.
Jordan
she has
moments.
She has Jordan moments.
She does. It's sad.
So you don't want to hang out with Jordan?
No, but
what would you guys do if you hung out with Jordan? What would you guys do?
We would have very sour looks on our face. Hands in our pockets.
Well, do you have any interest in restaurants or stocks?
Do you like sports?
He likes sports.
Basketball. He likes basketball.
He likes the wrong kind of basketball.
The fuck is the wrong kind of basketball?
Boston basketball. Fucking Celtics.
Okay, Tyrone. This
Good.
is about to get even harder.
Is that the word you're looking for? We're not good.
Well, they're definitely improving, which is
Who, the
nice.
Kings?
Yeah, they're definitely
yeah.
doing
After the
much
Celtics
better.
won the championship.
Yay, Celtics.
I'm glad that Jordan had a good
Congrats.
tour this year and was more personable.
He's been wonderful this tour, I think. I've been to 2008. I went to NKOTB SB, but never met the guys in those things. But you see all the interviews and stuff on YouTube and how he's been. But he was really wonderful this tour compared to last tour, I thought.
How did you know he was doing so good during this tour? Oh,
I
because
pay
of
attention.
all
I
those
see
women that
people.
were staying in our house talking about it all day. I'm like, I didn't tell you.
I have
Listening to
Instagram.
us.
I know what's going on in the world.
It's listening
I
to
follow
us
John
too.
very closely.
Hey, Naomi, did you know that whenever Joe does a show or something and he sends out emails, it is so weird that Tyrone sees it first and I go and I'm like, HK, did you see this? Are you going? And she's like, what? I didn't even know about it. Well, Tyrone told me. And she's like, of course he did.
He's on it.
He is.
They want to go to Solo Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
I've never
enjoy
been to
it.
Solo Joe yet. One
I
day.
enjoy Hollywood.
Has there ever been a moment where the fandom has annoyed you? Or is there anything about this fandom that you just don't understand? Like I don't get it.
Annoy me?
You don't have any real annoyances, do you?
Yes, I'll tell you my big annoyance with the new kids is why the fuck? Everybody knows that we're gonna have a tour every other year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like clockwork. We know when it's gonna start every year.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have to, we're gonna be like on the Today Show in October to announce that in 4 days we're going on sale and everybody have your fucking money ready?
Because the common fans, that's why.
Why? Yeah. You know, there's fucking money. It's not like, oh no, we're not buying $100 ticket. We have like half a dozen, 10, maybe, I don't know, maybe more shows we have to go to. We have to plan travel across the country.
But that's us. That's what we're like because we're hardcore.
I don't care about the rest.
This is for
I
the
care about
casual
me.
fan.
This is how it affects me. That's what I care about me.
So it's ruined your Today Show experience
I don't
to
give a fuck
hear
with Today.
this new kids announcement?
I don't give a fuck about the Today Show. I'm asleep.
It's probably because I'm freaking out about tickets. Oh my God, I gotta get the right tickets and the right shows and oh my God.
And then the stress begins until the tickets are bought.
And then
Okay, so we gotta pay for it for one, which is a fuck ton of money. And then it's like we gotta make sure that we have our fan club is up to date so we can be sure we get the pre-sale. And then I have to sit here, refresh, so we can get the fucking tickets.
Yep.
I hate October every other year. And that's it. Birthday.
This is the episode
Halloween.
preview right here. This is the
Haunted
episode
Mansion
preview
season.
because it's awesome.
Haunted Mansion season, Halloween season, and new kids are gonna ruin it.
Kind of balances out, you know.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never get stressed by anything.
I do enjoy tour season, but
because I leave for a little bit, you get some time away.
Even when you were here, we were so excited, had a good time. And
That's because I had all the friends here too.
All the fun friends are there, right? That's good.
Most of them. Oh, the Canada.
Yeah, this one chick from Canada.
I know.
She's just
super. She was such stressful, but bitch, man.
I know. She kept saying sorry about everything.
Oh my God.
Can I help you? Do?
Did you see that in Canadian school?
Why to make some Caesars at your house? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, hey, bud.
I liked the Caesars. Those were good.
Have you yourself ever done anything embarrassing for new kids?
For new kids?
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Okay, I didn't think so. But I know that some of the husbands have. But you're not one of them.
Right?
What do your friends and family think of the new kids thing?
I think it's crazy. At work, we were like the other day they were talking about they were about jobs like if you had this one job that's paid a little bit less, and they always compare it to like you have to tell your wife that's less New Kids shows. I think everybody I work with, everybody knows.
But I bet some of them go to the shows like the local ones, maybe. Huh?
Yeah, they sit like in the lower level, like cheap seats, like the $100 seats.
Casual fans. The casual fans. So that's what
They
I
go to
refer to them as.
Did you know there's people that only go to one show? Just that's it. That's it. One show. It's like, are you even a fan? You like the New Kids?
I was like, I could one show. Like I could go to one.
There's only ever been 2 artists that I've gone to multiple shows for, and the other one's Bon Jovi.
I was gonna say Bon Jovi.
Yep. There was one summer.
Answer.
2010, I went to like 4 Bon Jovi shows across Canada in one summer. And this country's spread out.
Although if we had to do it again, when they toured in Hawaii, I would.
Would you have gone with us to that?
Yeah, I couldn't have. I could only afford for one of us to go, and it had to be you.
I know. Look at that.
Can you imagine him saying, Rebecca, you have to stay at the hotel?
And didn't they do 3 shows?
Yeah, they did 3.
You get to stay at the hotel while Tyrone goes to the show.
Nobody loves Hawaii more than I do.
Oh, I do love it a lot.
So she went to Hawaii without me.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. I'm trying to look through the questions. Have you, Tyrone? No, I already know the answer to that.
Uh-oh.
Okay, no, I'm skipping what I.
No, don't skip. Now I'm interested.
Are we editing?
It was kind of along the lines of the Joe mask.
Oh, go for it. I want one now.
No.
I swear we had gotten you one.
Naomi, seriously, we had Tyrone had a work party here with all the people he works with, and one of them said, "I bet you would save money or something along the lines of that if Tyrone goes in and has his face reconstructed to look like Joe."
Oh,
I actually said, "No, I wouldn't. I don't want that. I like Tyrone just the way he is."
You're right.
I've actually heard that story at work many times.
Yeah, I love you. I want you just the way you are.
They're trying to save me money.
And then I want Joe on the set.
Tyrone, do you like the songs? Do you like any of their music?
No.
None of it?
Nope.
That's also a place in Canada. None of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a territory in the Arctic. I realized it as I said it. Yes. But you're not into any of the music.
No.
You know what? He's not really.
And this one,
either.
And this one often on Spotify has New Kids only playlists.
What do your kids think about the New Kids?
Well, our oldest one, when the New Kids first got back together again, and went to the first concert, was very confused by the whole situation, and says something to the effect of, "Mommy, have fun going to see kids standing on blocks."
But they do that too.
They do stand on blocks. But
they're not kids.
They
used to be kids. That day is past.
As he's gotten older, there was one time where Reba, we were talking about country music, and Carter and I we're not country at all. And Tyrone had listened to country music, and he started naming off all these country singers, one of which being Reba McEntire. And Tyrone looks at him and goes, "You've never heard of any of these people? You've never heard of any of these country singers? You've never heard of them?" He goes, "I've heard of Joey McIntyre." And
yeah.
Although, not this year too, before last, Rick Astley came up.
Oh yeah, they all loved that. Carter had one.
Carter wanted his shirt in the concert.
Yeah, there was a lot of kids actually that were there for Rick Astley, and there were kids like a lot of parents that were blockheads that we knew that bought shirts of "Never Gonna Give You Up" for their kids.
Well, even like Elliot at 10, he's like, I'm gonna rickroll you. Like, just get so excited about it.
Yeah, it's amazing what Rick Astley did with that whole thing. Like he took it and ran. Like it's not even something that he created, but when it happened, he did the right thing with it.
That
You know,
was smart.
what a revitalization.
With Elliot, though, with New Kids, he might not like New Kids, but he knows Michael because of New Kids.
Yeah.
Michael's like his other half.
So his best friend is your Barstool bestie, Chrissy.
Mm-hmm.
They talk more than Rebecca and Chrissy do.
Mm-hmm.
Every day,
Probably
all
talking to Michael
day long.
So your New Kids fandom fueled their friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Elliot can recognize New Kids songs.
Yes. He says he doesn't like them, but I think it's because he knows how much I do like them that he has to be like that. Like he says he doesn't like the Haunted Mansion either. It's the things that he wants to get that reaction out of me. So I don't give it to him. I'm like, fine, you can have your own opinion. Even if it's wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's a thing. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. So
no.
I remember growing up. No, but I remember growing up where it was like my sister did this to me and she admits it freely now. And friends who would be like purposely not liking something just because I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've all gone through that where they were just purposely like, oh, I hate it. But then later, years later, they might be like, I only did that to get on your nerves. I only did that. Like, honestly, they're not that bad. Or something to that effect, right?
Yeah, I am sure that's kind of where Elliot is coming from.
Uh-huh.
He is 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's busy. He's got a lot of other stuff going on. He doesn't have time
to talk to Michael. Tyrone, who's such a blockhead. He says he's no blockhead.
Tyrone loves the gossip.
He knows more about them than I do, I swear. He even's like, hey, I read John's got another show coming out. It's called what is it, Cabin? What was it called? Yeah, it's already out. The Cabin one.
Camp
Revamp.
Camp
Revamp.
It's already over.
Yeah. So, but before it started, I didn't even know there was another show. And he's like, John's doing another show, Camp Revamp, and they're going to redo these camps and blah, blah, blah. And he was telling me all about them all. Really? That's so cool. That's how our conversations go about New Kids. He finds out and tells me. And then I go to the chats.
You know, John doesn't own a computer.
Yep. Where did we find that out again? It was on the show. Oh yeah, because he was talking to Jordan about.
He talked to, yes, about how embarrassed he was.
I'm like Jordan,
lack of knowing the finances.
Show us how knowledgeable you are about all things, Jordan. It's so hot.
Oh, that's right. They were at the restaurant, Navarra. Oh, Naomi's freaking out over Jordan.
Because it's such a turnoff when Jordan's like lazy and like I don't know how to help you build things, and
when he's like, I'll go to Home Depot and get a bucket.
I know. Or like when he lifted up that nail gun, I was like, yeah, Jordan. There you go.
Flipped over and fell in the water.
Yeah, I did. That seemed staged, but it was funny.
Yeah, totally. But
I'm sure it was, but that was for your pleasure.
Oh, we had lots of pleasure of that. That was very nice to watch. We should record it and then watch it in slow-mo.
Social media, yeah, we've got it. Send us an email, dopenostalgiapodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, nostalgia dope. Or on Insta, dope_nostalgia.
This podcast is licensed by SOCAN because we believe that artists should be paid for their work. Hi, if you enjoyed Dope Nostalgia, thank you. Consider becoming a Patreon subscriber today for as little as $1 a month. It helps keep the show on the air and rolling. So if you want to check out our Patreon, it's at patreon.com/dope nostalgia. $1 a month, and you'll be helping support one of your favorite podcasts.